If I'm being transparent, fellas, I was living paycheck to paycheck, going on expensive dates with women that I don't even talk to now. At the time, I was trying to look like I had more than I actually had. It's either I could stay in Atlanta and keep playing around in Atlanta, or I could lock in and prepare for the life that I really wanted. I had too much pride to even tell people that I was door dashing. My bank notifying my phone saying I got negative $10 in my account. Fellas, I've been in situations where I had no money. I got fired from my job in Atlanta. I had to bite down for a couple of months and get myself right. I had to make some sacrifices. I let go of the women. I let go of the alcohol. Nothing is ever gonna build your confidence more knowing that you got money and you physically look good. And ironically, this year's summer anthem is spin that shit. The shorty with the tight sundress gonna be wanting to go out with you. Alcohol has to go, fellas. Weed has to go, fellas. You do have a time limit when it comes to reaching your success. If you can't control your impulses, you can't control your life. You can't sit here and complain about you not having enough money when you're not making the decisions to get more. Because a lot of men, they have enough money to save, they just spend it on their vices. This 90-day money run, it's far from about money. It's about who you are as a man. And if you can't sacrifice for just 90 days, then you're not serious about changing your life. What's going on, fellas? This video gonna be a lot different than the other videos we've had in the past, right? This video is for the fellas who know they need to get serious and they're willing to make that sacrifice right now. A lot of you guys are about to save a lot of money. A lot of you guys are about to find discipline. A lot of you guys are about to realize that the reason that your life hasn't changed is not because you don't have potential. It's because you haven't been locked in long enough to let that potential turn into results. Fellas, I'm introducing you to the 90-day money run plan. This is 90 days of self-improvement, 90 days of stacking your money, 90 days of discipline. Fellas, don't get fooled by the name. I know it has money in the name, but this plan is deeper than money. I always tell you guys, don't chase the money. I tell you guys to focus on becoming a man that attracts the money, right? So yeah, with this plan, you are going to save money, but this plan is deeper than that. This is 90 days of self-improvement, 90 days of stacking, 90 days of cutting off distractions, 90 days of consistent discipline, 90 days of proving to yourself that you can do exactly what you said that you're going to do. And be honest, fellas, we look at the number 90 and feel like it's a large number. But when it comes to days, 90 days isn't a long time. It might feel like a long time when you're in it, but when you really think about it, 90 days is only 3 months. I mean, look how fast 6 months just passed. We're halfway in the year. So these 3 months are going to fly by whether you decide to focus during these 3 months or waste time. These 3 months are going to fly by whether you're spending money or you're saving money. These 3 months are going to fly by whether you're building your body, your mindset, and your bank account, or you could do the same things that you've been doing and wonder why nothing has changed for you. Even though 90 days isn't a long time to be in the field, it's definitely a long enough time to build something. 90 days is long enough to build a habit. It's long enough to stack a couple hundred or even a couple $1,000. It's long enough to get your body in shape. It's long enough to lose that weight. It's long enough to fix your routine. It's long enough for you to separate yourself from the man that you used to be. But the first thing we're gonna do before we start this run, fellas, we need to figure out our why. You need to know why you want to save money. You can't just say, I want more money, because you always want more money. But it needs to be a little bit deeper than that. That's not strong enough. Why do you want more money? Is it because you need a car for transportation? Is it because you're trying to move out of your parents' house and get your own apartment? Is it because you want to make an investment to improve yourself? Is it because you want to buy a camera to start your YouTube channel? Do you want to pay off some debt? Is it because you're trying to get your bank account out of the negative? Is it because you're tired of being a man that has to wait until payday? Fellas, whatever it is, your why has to mean something. Because during these 90 days, although 90 days isn't a long time, it's not gonna be easy. Your discipline is gonna be tested. Your patience is gonna be tested. Temptation is gonna come. And when that temptation comes, your why is gonna lock you back in. When your friends are outside and they hit you up, tell you to come outside and meet them at the bar, your why has to be stronger. When old shorty that you've been talking to in the DM, right? When you've been trying to link, and she's telling you she want to go out to Joey's or Mastro's, your why has to be stronger. When you want to buy clothes, liquor, weed, food that you ain't supposed to be eating, shoes or other shit that you don't need, your why is going to have to be stronger. Because if you don't have a strong If you don't have a strong why, fellas, you're gonna quit as soon as this shit gets uncomfortable. Before I dive any deeper, let me tell you guys a story about me. If you're new to my channel, I told this story in previous videos. During the pandemic around 2021, 2022, I was living in Atlanta. No car, I didn't have my own crib, I was living with my mom. I really didn't have anything to my name. But during that time, I was spending my money on things that I shouldn't have been doing. And one of those things was traveling. Now, granted, say if I wasn't traveling, I probably wouldn't have expanded my horizons, but I was traveling to Houston. I was traveling to Houston often to come to visit my cousin and, explore the city or whatever. And well, a few times to be traveling to Houston, I made it a goal of mine saying, I am going to move to Houston. That's what I wanted to do. Because every time I came out here, it was a good vibe. I just liked the city. It became a goal of mine to move to Houston. Like I said, fellas, at the time, I wasn't making crazy money. At the time, I was working at a call center. You make commission. At this time, I was kind of establishing credit. And y'all know during the pandemic, Atlanta was one of those cities that never shut down. Atlanta stayed open the whole time. So a lot of people were coming to Atlanta when they were traveling because there was nowhere else to go, which means the bigger the population, the more lit the clubs were, better women were coming around. Outside was still outside for us. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. Around this time, I was very comfortable because like I said, I had a safety net of my mother. So I wasn't really financially intelligent. I wasn't budgeting my money. I wasn't handling my finances like I should have been. If I'm being transparent, fellas, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was out buying clothes, buying liquor every weekend, going to the grocery store, just buying food that I shouldn't have been eating, going on expensive dates with women that I don't even talk to now, buying the latest Jordans, just being around. Right, just staying outside. At the time, I was trying to look like I had more than I actually had. If I'm being just transparent with y'all, and that's where a lot of men mess up because they try to keep up with the Joneses, which is exactly what I was trying to do. But fellas, during the pandemic, that's kind of where I got focused as well, and I knew if I wanted to move to Houston, I had to get serious. I never lived by myself before. I never moved anywhere. I knew the move was gonna be expensive. I know once you move, you accrue more bills. I knew I was gonna need some furniture. I knew I was gonna wanna decorate the place to make it look nice. I just knew I didn't wanna move and be struggling or not being able to afford to move. So I knew when the opportunity came, I wanted to be comfortable enough to move with no problems. So that's when it clicked for me, fellas. So it's either I could stay in Atlanta and keep playing around in Atlanta, or I could lock in and prepare for the life that I really wanted. So I started planning. I set up a budget for myself. I stopped going outside on the weekends. I started working 2 jobs. Even around this time, fellas, I was door dashing, right? And I want to stay here for a second because it's funny because I mentioned in the past video that I used to door dash, and one of my closest friends, he damn near my brother, like blood couldn't make us any closer. He watched the video and he called me and he said, bro, I never knew you did DoorDash. And that's because, y'all, at that time, I had too much pride to even tell people that I was door dashing. So I'm gonna be honest, fellas, in order for me to make money and in order for you to make money and to get out your slump, you may have to swallow your pride. I'm not saying tell everybody your business, but I'm saying you might have to do some things that you aren't necessarily comfortable with, or you might feel embarrassed to do. But at the end of the day, as a man, you have to do what you have to do to get to where you need to get to. So like myself, I swallowed my pride and did what I had to do. And fellas, I know, right? I've been there. Like I tell it all the time. I've had negative bank accounts, right? I've had negative swiping my card at the cash register. My bank notifying my phone saying I got negative $10 in my account. Fellas, I've been in situations where I had no money, literally. And I've also had moments where, I may have had a little bit of money, but it wasn't enough that I was really comfortable with. And I know in those times, we never really like to admit when we don't have as much funds as we would like, because everybody wants to look like they're winning, right? Like I said before, when I was driving DoorDash, I was so focused on keeping up with the Joneses that you wouldn't even have known that I didn't have anything, because I always looked the part of like the Atlanta lifestyle. But in reality, I was struggling. And that's one of the reasons why I was living paycheck to paycheck, because I was trying to look the part like I was winning, but I really wasn't winning. And it was a lot of pressure on me because, I graduated from college, I got fired, I got fired from my job in Atlanta. But in Atlanta, it's like everybody was a celebrity out there. Everybody driving luxury cars out there. Everybody out there dressed like they have it. Especially during the pandemic, everybody was outside like money wasn't a problem. But fellas, I had to be real with myself, and I couldn't buy into that anymore because now I had a plan. I had a goal that I wanted to move and get out of my mom's house and move to a new city and start a new life. And fellas, when you have a real plan and a real goal, you have to stop caring about looking rich or looking like you have it or trying to impress people, and start worrying about making sure you're stable. That's a big difference. A lot of men are out here more worried about looking successful than actually being successful. I was spending money on sneakers and clothes before I was putting money to the side for an apartment for myself. I was spending money on bottles at the club, taking them out on dates, getting them gifts before I even invested in my future. I was spending money on food that I had no business eating before I was stacked for my emergency savings. And then I would wonder why was I behind? And at some point, fellas, just like I did, you're gonna have to swallow your pride. You might have to do things that people may laugh at you. You may have to pick up extra shifts at work. You might have to DoorDash. You may have to eat the same meals every day. You may have to say no to that friend trip. You may have to chill and stay in the house. You may have to wear the same clothes for a season. You may have to disappear just for a little bit. But fellas, even though this stuff may sound unattractive, that's what discipline looks like. Fellas, when I locked in and I began planning to move to Houston, it started as a mindset. And once it started as a mindset, I started taking actionable steps to make sure I was prepared when the time came. Because in my head, I knew the time was gonna come. It was just a matter of when. So every week when I got paid, because I was getting paid weekly from the call center, I had $500 automatically going to my savings account. Like, it never even touched my checking. It went straight to my savings. So I didn't even see it. I didn't even look at it. I didn't even touch it. I act like the money didn't even exist. And after a while, to be honest, I forgot about it. And then finally, when I got the opportunity to move to Houston and I took a look at the savings to see if I'll be able to afford it, I had way more than I expected in my savings. And fellas, that feeling is different from me being someone who depended on my mom and living under her roof and driving her cars, to being able to move myself, transfer all of my things to a whole nother state, pay for the down deposit, pay a couple months rent, pay for furniture, pay for decoration, and not having to ask nobody to help me was probably the best feeling I've had in my life. And that's all because I had to bite down for a couple of months and get myself right. I had to make some sacrifices to make sure when the time came, I was prepared. Around this time, fellas, I let go of the clubs, I let go of the women, I let go of the alcohol, I let go of the fun for a period of time. I let all that stuff go for a period of time. Not only was I letting stuff go, I was inviting myself to new things. I started reading more. Around this time, that's when I started hitting the gym. Whenever I wasn't working my 9 to 5 or door dashing for a few hours, I was in the gym. And that made the process a lot better for me, fellas, because while I was watching my bank account grow, I was also watching my body develop as well. Fellas, you wanna talk about momentum? Nothing is ever gonna build your confidence more knowing that you got money and you physically look good. When you saving money and getting in shape at the same time, you start walking different, you start talking different, your mood feels a lot better because now you're building yourself up on both sides of the fence. You got a lot of people out here that physically look good, but their bank account don't. And then you got a lot of people that have a good looking bank account, but their body doesn't. And to be honest, fellas, this is called Hemtier University. So we want to make sure that we're well-rounded. We don't want to be good at one thing and bad at another. We want to make sure that we're here mentally, financially, and physically. Fellas, I'm telling you, during this 90-day run, we're going to discuss it a little bit further, but you want to make sure when you're releasing some things, right, some of the negative things out your life, you want to invite some of the positive things as well. When you start reading books and you getting intelligent, Those conversations you start having with people, they sound a little bit different, right? More intellectual. When you invite the gym into your life, fellas, and you start feeling stronger, and you start getting them compliments, fellas, that's gonna boost your confidence. And I'm telling you right now, there's gonna come a point in time during this 90-day run where you're gonna look in the mirror and you're gonna see that you look good, and then you're gonna look at your bank account and you're gonna see how much money you save, or you're gonna look at your shoebox and see how many bills you got in there, and it may be the best feeling that you ever had, because you know that you built yourself up. And that's a feeling that I want you guys to experience, because I've been there, right? I've been there. I want you guys to know what it feels like to open your bank account and not panic. I want you guys to know the feeling of looking in the mirror and seeing progress. I want you guys to know the feeling of telling people no and actually meaning it. I want you guys to know what it feels like to actually be in control. This 90-day money run plan, this isn't just for the fellas who are struggling financially. This isn't just for the guys who are broke. This is also for the guys who are financially stable, but know they can have a lot more, be a lot sharper. It may be even for the guys that want to prove to themselves that they can do it. Because fellas, that's me too. Right now in my life, I'm good, fellas, but I know I could be smarter with my money. I've wasted a lot of money. I've given away a lot of money. And I've also left a lot of money on the table that I knew should have been in my pocket. I've bought the latest clothes, the designer clothes, the expensive Jordans, the bottles in the club, the food at that expensive restaurant. And it's funny, fellas, because before I became financially stable with myself in my life, my mom always used to call me cheap. I swear, my whole life, my mom called me cheap. This goes back to when, you know, when you're young and your family gives you $100, $200 for your birthday. I'll make those couple $100 stretch until my next birthday. But I don't consider myself cheap. I may be frugal, but I ain't cheap. But that's neither here nor there, fellas. A him-tier man is not reckless with his money. He's very intentional. He knows when to spend, he knows when to save, he knows when to invest, he knows when to sacrifice, he knows when to tell himself no. He's very in control. So during this 90-day money run, fellas, you gotta treat it like a game. And understand, it doesn't last forever. It's only 90 days. It doesn't last forever. It has to end. And I'm gonna tell you guys again, it may be simple, but it's not gonna be easy. Let's not get it confused, fellas. It is summertime. Everybody's gonna be outside. Everybody gonna be posting. Everybody gonna be traveling. Everybody's gonna be trying to be seen. And ironically, this year's summer anthem is Spin That Shit. The shorty with the tight sundress gonna be wanting to go out with you. Fellas, the temptation is gonna be everywhere. The cookouts, the parties, the lounges, the trips, the clothes, the dates, the alcohol, the weed, the food, the pressure, the fear of missing out. And that fear of missing out is very dangerous, because that fear of missing out will have you spending money that you don't even have with people who don't even care about you at places that you shouldn't even be at. Most men don't go broke from making one big purchase. They go broke because they keep saying yes to little temptations. Y'all say yes to the happy hour. Y'all say yes to the bottles. Y'all say yes to the weed. Y'all say yes to the club. Yes to the late night food. Yes to the chick that you've been trying to impress. Yes to the outfit that y'all don't need. Yes to the trip that you really can't even afford. Y'all saying yes to everything besides your goals. And then when it's time to pay bills, save some money, invest, or make a move, y'all out here looking stressed. This is why it's very important during this 90-day run to cut off your vices. Alcohol has to go, fellas. Weed has to go, fellas. That PlayStation has to go, fellas. FOMO, that fear of missing out, gotta go, fellas. That impulsive and emotional spending, gotta go, fellas. Trying to impress other people, or you know, that chick that you've been trying to get her attention, gotta go, fellas. But you can't build a new life while still feeding the old habits that's been keeping you stuck. Some of you already know what your vices are. Well, you should. I hope you do. For some of you, it's alcohol. You say you only going out for one drink, but one drink turns into a keep my tab open. Food, Uber, late night spending. And then you wake up the next day feeling off, not wanting to look at your bank account because you don't even remember how much you actually spent. Some of you is weed, you smoke, you get lazy, you order some food, you skip the gym, then you lose focus and then wonder why you're not moving with a sense of urgency. For some of you, I'm a victim, is women. You're spending money on dates. You may be getting her gifts, you buying her food, y'all going out for drinks. You may be even giving this attention to women who, if it wasn't for you, wouldn't even be able to do these things. Or it may be women who really don't care about you. And if you weren't able to do these things for them, you will be irrelevant. For some of you, you want to be the flyest guy on the block. So some of you guys, y'all vices might be clothes and shoes. Trying to look successful, trying to look fly without being successful. But for most of you, it's social media. You see everybody outside, you see everybody taking trips, you see everybody buying this, buying that, and you automatically feel like you're missing out, and now you want to go on a trip. Now you want to buy that shirt that you really don't even want. But let me tell you guys something. You're not missing out. You're finally locking in. And it's impossible to miss out on anything when you're spending that time getting yourself together. I promise you, that party will happen again. That club that they posting, that club's still gonna be there. That restaurant's still gonna be there. Those clothes, those shoes, still gonna be there. Those people still gonna be posting. The world gonna keep spinning. But the opportunity to actually become disciplined and to change your life, that is on you. That window doesn't stay open. That window does not stay open forever. You do have a time limit when it comes to reaching your success. So this 90-day money run is where you're gonna find out who you actually really are. Can you stick to the plan when everybody else is outside? Can you save your money when everybody else is spending? Can you stay focused when that temptation gets a little loud? This is what that 90-day run is about, fellas. Being uncomfortable now so that you can be comfortable later. It might mean canceling some subscriptions. That may mean picking up some extra shifts at work. That may mean getting another job. That may mean door dashing, right? Take it from me. That may mean door dashing, Ubering, freelancing, or just getting creative on finding ways on how to make some extra cash. That may mean stop going outside, right? That may mean getting more strict with your diet, tightening up your diet, right? So you can eat cheaper meals. That means cutting off unnecessary spending, telling people no, cutting off that alcohol, cutting off that weed. That may mean you may have to delete social media for a season so you don't run into that temptation or that fear of missing out. Fellas, as we get closer to starting this challenge, which we'll be starting it on July 1st, I'm gonna share with you guys every step of the way on what I'm doing during my 90-day challenge. And I feel like one thing that's mandatory for everyone who's participating in this with me, you should have 5 daily standards. I feel like every man that's participating should have no impulsive spending on one of his 5 daily standards. Cause in order to be him tier, if you're gonna say you're him, you can't fall victim to every temptation. If you can't control your impulses, you can't control your life. That's not just with money, fellas. This shit bigger than money. This is with everything. If you can't control your urge to spend, you probably can't control your urge to drink. If you can't control your urge to smoke, you probably can't control your urge to be lazy. If you can't control your urge to go outside, you probably can't control your urge to text somebody you should be leaving alone. Fellas, you gotta understand, with this 90-day money run, discipline is connected 100%. The way you do one thing shows up in all areas. And this goes hand in hand with emotional spending as well. Fellas, I used to do it. I used to spend money when I got upset because buying new things made me feel better. Getting fly made me feel better. Getting tipsy made me feel better. Going out made me feel better. Buying food, eating food made me, I still do, but eating expensive food made me feel better. But the tricky thing is, fellas, that feeling is only temporary. But that bill is not. You get that little dopamine hit and you feel good for a moment or a night, but then the money is gone. And the problem that you were trying to escape is still there the next day. So if you're trying to become a him tier man, you don't need to just control your emotions. You need to control the actions that come from your emotions as well. And that's what I'm gonna be working on during this 90-day run. It's okay to feel stressed. It's okay to feel bored, fellas. It's okay to feel lonely. It's okay to be a little frustrated sometimes, but it's not okay to keep using your emotions as an excuse to make poor financial decisions. You gotta grow up, fellas. You can't say, oh, I had a bad day, so I spent some money to make myself feel better, because that's how you stay stuck. Number 3, pay yourself, fellas. Typically when people get paid, they pay their bills first and then they save whatever's left. But on this 90-day run, let's move a little different. You're sacrificing your fun. You're being disciplined. You may be working more hours. Like you may have picked up an extra shift, forgot another job. You're cutting off unnecessary spending. You're cutting off vices. So make sure you pay yourself first. I'm not saying neglect your bills, fellas. Trust me, handle your responsibilities, but make sure saving is a part of the budget, not just something you do if money is left over. Because if you wait till money is left over, there probably won't be any money left. You need to know your bills. You need to know their due dates. You need to know how much money is coming in, how much money is going out. You need to know what you can cut. You need to know what you can save. And I know that sounds like a lot, fellas, but we have ChatGPT now. Use it. Paste your last 3 months of pay stubs and bank statements in ChatGPT, and it's gonna tell you where most of your money is going. Ask it to calculate your bills, ask it to organize it by, their due date, and ask it to build a budget for you. There's no excuse for being financially clueless anymore. Every day you need to track every dollar. For years, I've had a daily alert set up on my phone. It comes from my bank. They can send you SMS text alerts. So when I wake up every morning, I see how much is in my bank account. So I have that set up to tell me how much is in my bank account starting the day. And I also have an alert set up. To text me every time my cards are used, and if they're used for a purchase over $1, which is basically every purchase. So any one of my cards are used, I'm notified. I started doing this back in like 2022, 2023, when I got scammed and my bank account was wiped clean. I had $0 in there. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I had nothing. Wells Fargo took forever to give me my money back, because when you report something like that, you gotta show proof and make a claim, and it takes 30 to 60 days for them to even give you your money back. This was way before I learned about credit cards, but that's a different topic for a different video. So nowadays I get notified anytime a purchase over $1 comes on my account, and I'm very punctual. No dollar gets past me. That might sound extreme to some people, but I call it being aware. A man should always know what's going on with his money. You should not be scared to check your account, fellas. You shouldn't be surprised by subscriptions. You should not be confused on where your money went. You should not wait until your card declines to realize that you being sloppy with your money. So make sure you track everything. So during this 90-day money run, we're gonna watch our money grow, because watching your money grow is gonna help with your momentum. It's gonna help you feel good, and it's gonna make you wanna keep going. So if you don't wanna do daily alerts like myself, get a shoebox and keep cash in it. I think that's actually a good method if you live alone, so that way you know that your money is safe. I actually may do the shoebox method myself, because it's just something about touching the bills. Just something about physically touching those bills make you feel good. When you physically see the money growing, it's gonna hit a lot different. It becomes a game, it becomes motivation. Like you're looking at the proof that you on your 90-day money run. Secondly, during this run, fellas, you want to make sure that you're telling people no. Friends, family, people asking for money, people asking for loans, tell them no. Please take this from my experience. I've loaned people money and they've never paid me back. And if they do pay you back eventually, it's gonna be well after these 90 days, fellas. So just tell them no. You want to see how high you can really stack your bread. So we're not giving nothing out. And it's not because you're selfish, fellas, but right now you're on a mission. Everybody can't have access to your money while you're on this 90-day run. And the thing that I learned is they're not asking because you're the only option. They're asking because you're the easy option. So stop being the easy option. Just because you got it don't mean you have to give it. Rule number 3, no outside. For 90 days, you're not outside at all. Talk about work, gym, crib. And if you must do something, make sure that shit free. Go for a walk in the park, go to the pool, go play basketball, go work out. Do something simple. We're not doing 5-star restaurants. We're not doing clubs. We're not doing lounges. No random trips. No dates. Honestly, fellas, if you pick up an extra job or an extra shift, you're not gonna have time to do that shit anyway. So as long as you on your grind, you're gonna be good when it comes to rule number 3. Rule number 4, like we said before, cut off your vices. And this might be the most important rule, because a lot of men, they have enough money to save. They just spend it on their vices. Like we said before, alcohol, weed, games, women, food, shopping, gambling. The list goes on. For the next 90 days, you need to be honest about what has control over you. If alcohol makes you spend more money, I'm one of those people. You gotta cut it off. If weed makes you lazy and unmotivated, cut it off. If social media makes you compare your life to other people and try to keep up with the Joneses, cut it off. Because every vice has a cost. It costs And not only money, but it costs focus, it costs energy, it costs time, it costs discipline, it costs momentum. Think about it, fellas. A him-tier man isn't controlled by weed or a bottle or women or his emotions. He controls himself at all times. Rule number 5, make more money. Saving is important, but at some point, you're also gonna need to increase your income. Like I said, that may be picking up some overtime, that may be getting a second job. You may have to do a car service, food delivery service. Look around your house, right? You're probably sitting on a gold mine. Look around your house, around some things that you don't use or some clothes that you don't wear and sell it. Do some freelancing, learn a skill. If you're not satisfied with your current job, apply for better jobs. The thing about it, fellas, you can't sit here and complain about you not having enough money when you're not making the decisions to get more. Rule number 6, eat cheap and eat clean. A lot of men are broke because they eat too much. Y'all don't even be hungry half the time. You just undisciplined. Spent $15 here, $20 there, $30 here, and then wonder where your money went. Fellas, the best thing that you could do during this 90-day run is meal prep. I will be dropping a video for you guys, taking you guys grocery shopping with me on what I meal prep, what I eat to stay under the budget. It's something that's effective and it's also healthy for you. Rice, chicken, vegetables, ground beef, tuna, oatmeal. I keep it simple. This isn't the season for luxury right now, fellas. This is the season for sacrifice. Rule number 8, I even suggest deleting social media while you're on this 90-day run, or at least limiting it with, screen time. But I highly suggest deleting it, just deleting it. Because when you're on social media, you're seeing happy hour specials, you're seeing club flyers, you're seeing sneakers about to drop, you're seeing people on trips, you're seeing expensive cars, you're seeing restaurants, right? You're basically looking at a perfect world. And while you're on this 90-day run, that can kind of get in your head, right? So instead of opening social media and looking at this perfect world where everybody's living the perfect life while you're the only one in the world grinding, I suggest deleting it. But if you can't delete it for whatever reason, definitely limit your time on it, right? I would say no more than 45 minutes a day. Fellas, again, this 90-day money run, I know money's in the title, but it's far from about money. It's about who you are as a man, right? What are you willing to do to become the man that you're supposed to be? Because the man that you want to become is going to require a version of you that can sacrifice. And if you can't sacrifice for just 90 days, then you're not serious about changing your life. Fellas, this is probably one of my longest videos because I want to make sure y'all understand the plan. We start on July 1st. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're joining the 90-day money run with me. Follow me at all platforms, fellas. You can find that in the description below. And if you're serious about rebranding your discipline, your body, your mindset, and your life, then click the link in the description below. Book a call and we'll see if you're a good fit. But with all else, fellas, my biggest fear with you guys is you guys watching this video and just getting motivated for one day. Becoming him is a lifestyle. This 90-day money run is gonna start July 1st, 90 days, no excuses, we locking in. It's time to perform.